Welcome back to ICC, Informed Cannabis Consumers, where we make cannabis science easier to understand.
Before we get started, a quick reminder. This episode is intended for educational and informational purposes only. We'll be discussing scientific research related to cannabis and cannabinoids, but nothing in this episode should be considered medical, legal, or professional advice.
That's right. Research on cannabinoids is ongoing, and many of the studies we'll mention are still preliminary. If you're considering cannabis or cannabinoid products for health or wellness purposes, it's always a good idea to consult with a qualified healthcare professional.
Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about a cannabinoid that doesn't get nearly as much attention as THC or CBD, but maybe it should. It's called CBC, short for Cannabichromene.
Yes, CBC, the cannabinoid that's always at the party but somehow never gets introduced.
Exactly. If you've never heard of CBC before, you're definitely not alone.
Most cannabis conversations are basically THC and CBD stealing all the spotlight.
Meanwhile, CBC is standing in the corner saying, "Hey guys, I'm important too."
And honestly, it kind of is. CBC is one of the major cannabinoids produced by the cannabis plant.
What's really interesting is that CBC starts from the same place as THC and CBD. All three come from a compound called CBGA.
The famous mother cannabinoid.
You stole my line again.
I saw an opportunity.
As the plant grows, CBGA transforms into different cannabinoid acids. In CBC's case, it becomes CBCA, which later converts into CBC when exposed to heat or ultraviolet light.
Science is pretty amazing when you think about it.
It really is.
One of the first questions people ask is whether CBC gets you high.
Fair question.
The simple answer is no. CBC is considered non-intoxicating, meaning it doesn't produce the euphoric effects commonly associated with THC.
Instead, CBC appears to interact with different systems in the body. Researchers have found it may work with receptors involved in pain perception and inflammation.
It may also help increase levels of anandamide,
Also known as the bliss molecule.
which sounds a lot cooler than anandamide.
It definitely wins the marketing award.
Anandamide is one of the body's naturally occurring endocannabinoids and is associated with mood and feelings of well-being.
Another reason researchers are interested in CBC is something called the Entourage Effect.
That's the idea that cannabinoids may work together than they do individually.
Like a basketball team.
On a podcast host duo.
Hopefully a successful one.
The reviews will decide.
Scientists believe CBC may contribute to these combined effects alongside cannabinoids like THC and CBD.
Which brings us to some of the areas where CBC is currently being studied.
One of the biggest areas is pain and inflammation.
Early research suggests CBC may help reduce inflammation and discomfort.
Some animal studies have even shown stronger effects when CBC was paired with THC.
Supporting the idea that cannabinoids may enhance one another's effects.
Researchers are also looking at CBC's potential role in brain health.
A study involving mice found that CBC supported the health of neural stem progenitor cells.
Which is a very scientific way of saying cells that may help support and maintain healthy brain function.
Thank you for translating.
That's what I'm here for.
Another surprising area of research is skin health.
Studies have shown CBC may help reduce inflammation and excess oil production in the skin.
Two factors commonly associated with acne.
But before anyone rushes out to buy CBC face cream,
The research is still early, and it's far too soon to call it an acne treatment.
exactly. The findings are interesting, but more research is needed.
CBC has also shown promise in studies related to mood support.
Some research suggests that when combined with THC and CBD, CBC may contribute to antidepressant-like effects.
Once again, highlighting the possibility that cannabinoids may work best as a team.
You're really committed to that team analogy.
I picked a theme and I'm sticking with it.
Fair enough.
Perhaps the most intriguing area of research involves cancer-related studies.
Researchers have found that CBC may help maintain higher levels of anandamide in the body.
And some laboratory research suggests cannabinoids could play a role in reducing inflammation and inhibiting certain types of tumor growth.
But this is where we need a very important reminder.
Absolutely. These findings come primarily from laboratory and preclinical studies.
They should not be interpreted as proof that CBC prevents, treats, or cures cancer.
Much more research, especially human clinical research, is needed before any conclusions can be made.
So, what's the takeaway?
CBC might not be the most famous cannabinoid, but it's quickly becoming one of the most interesting.
From pain and inflammation to brain health, skin care, mood support, and cancer-related research, CBC is showing promise across a variety of areas.
At the same time, it's important to remember that much of the current evidence comes from laboratory, animal, and early-stage research.
Researchers continue learning more about how CBC works and how it may fit into the future of cannabis science.
That's why education matters. Understanding what the science says and what it doesn't say is an important part of being an informed consumer.
Thanks for joining us today on ICC, Informed Cannabis Consumers.
If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to follow along for more educational discussions that help make cannabis science easier to understand.
Before we go, one final reminder. Nothing discussed in this episode is intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition.
Any discussion of potential benefits or areas of research should not be interpreted as proven health claims. The studies mentioned are discussed for educational purposes only.
Cannabis affects everyone differently, and individual experiences may vary.
If you're considering cannabis or cannabinoid products as part of a wellness or treatment plan, consult with a qualified healthcare professional.
And always follow all applicable local, state, and federal laws regarding cannabis where you live.
At ICC, our mission is to provide balanced, fact-based cannabis education that empowers consumers to make informed decisions.
And remember...
Wait, this is your line.
Thank you.
Informed consumers make empowered decisions.
Until next time, stay curious.
Stay informed.
And we'll see you next time.